Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom, Ni hao, Buenos dias, Sesichen, Akwaba, Velkomen, what up though? This is the weekly recorded recitations of Holy Scriptures. The portion is numero 35, which is Naso. And the date today is 124.9.17, semicolon 72, semicolon 2, new 7. This portion includes within the Torah, Bimidbar, portion Naso, which is Bimidbar 4:21 a 7:89. Within the Bhagavad Gita, it is the Shradatra Yavi Bhaga Yogehe, which is numero 17. And within the Digha Nikaya, it is the Payasi Sutta, which is numero 23. Within the Gospels, it is the Gospel according to St. John, which is John 1:2. And within the Quran, it is Surah Fusilat, also known as Hamim, or Hamim Asajda, as well as Surah Ashura, which is Surahs 41 a 42. And within the Tao Te Ching, it is chapters 43 a 48. It is Ramadan, I am fasting. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahu Akbar. Deus nos que es in celis, sanctificado nomen tuum, Bahegu Satnam. Thou que thou fehon thou. Ja. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher katzanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'sok b'davar Torah. Kyrie eleison. Silver Master Sabbajagatahid. Sabe Sata Bhavantu Sukhitata. Fagabia. Ubuntu. Shabana. Fakiko. Akwaba. Upendo na amani. Umejeka. Shishe. Kamasanida. Domo arigato. Bilama yelo waka talk or talk good. God, we thank you for all that you bless us. Lord, met the God. Ata Jamya Yata Afanami. Aho. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Amen. Torah, Bimidbar, Naso, Bimidbar 4:21 a 7:89. The Lord spoke to Moshe, saying, "Take a census of the sons of Gershon, of them 2, following their fathers' houses, according to their families. From the age of 30 years and upwards until the age of 50 years you shall count them, all who come to join the legion, to perform service in the tent of meeting. This is the service of the Gershonite families to serve and to carry. They shall carry the curtains of the Mishkan and the tent of meeting, its covering and the tachashkin covering overlaid upon it, and the screen for the entrance to the tent of meeting. The hangings of the courtyard, the screen at the entrance of the gate of the courtyard, which is around the Mishkan, and the altar, their ropes, all the work involved, and everything that is made for them, and thus shall they serve. All the service of the sons of Gershon shall be by the instruction of Aaron and his sons, regarding all their burden and all their service. You shall designate their entire burden as their charge. This is the service of the families of the sons of Gershon in the tent of meeting, and their charge, which was under the supervision of Itamar the son of Aaron the Kohen. As for the sons of Merari, you shall count them by their families according to their fathers' houses. From the age of 30 years and upwards until the age of 50 years you shall count them, all who come to the legion to perform service in the tent of meeting. This is the charge of their burden for all their service in the tent of meeting. The planks of the Mishkan, its bars, its pillars, and its sockets. The pillars of the surrounding courtyard, their sockets, their pegs, and their ropes, all their implements for all the work involved. You shall designate by name the implements charged to them for their burden. This is the service of the families of the sons of Merari for all their service in the tent of meeting, which was under the supervision of Itamar the son of Aaron the Kohen. Moshe, Aaron, and the chieftains of the congregation counted the sons of the Kohathites according to their families and their fathers' houses, from the age of 30 years and upwards until the age of 50 years, all who come to the legion for service in the tent of meeting. Their tally according to their families, 2,750. These are the numbers of the Kohathite families, all who served in the tent of meeting, who were counted by Moshe and Aaron as directed by the Lord to Moshe. The tally of the sons of Gershon according to their families and their fathers' houses, from the age of 30 years and upwards until the age of 50 years, all who come to the legion for service in the tent of meeting. Their total according to their families and their fathers' houses, 2,630. These are the numbers of the families of the sons of Gershon, all who served in the tent of meeting, whom Moshe and Aaron counted as directed by the Lord. The tally of the families of the sons of Merari according to their families and their fathers' houses, from the age of 30 years and upwards until the age of 50 years, all who come to the legion for work in the tent of meeting. Their tally according to their families, 3,200. These are the numbers of the families of the sons of Merari, whom Moshe and Aaron counted as directed by the Lord to Moshe. All the numbers whom Moshe and Aaron and the chieftains of Israel counted the Levites according to their families and their fathers' houses, from the age of 30 years and upwards until the age of 50 years, who are fit to perform the service for the service and the work of carrying in the tent of meeting. Their tally, 8,580. As directed by the Lord, they were appointed by Moshe, each man to his service and his burden. They were counted as the Lord had commanded Moshe. The Lord spoke to Moshe, saying, Command the children of Israel to banish from the camp all those afflicted with Za'arat, or with a male discharge, and all those unclean through contact with the dead. Both male and female you shall banish. You shall send them outside the camp, and they not defile their camps, in which I dwell amongst them. The children of Israel did so. They sent them outside the camp, as the Lord had spoken to Moshe. So did the children of Israel do. The Lord then spoke to Moshe, saying, Tell the children of Israel, when a man or woman commits any of the sins against man, to act treacherously against God, and that person is found guilty, they shall confess the sin they committed and make restitution for the principal amount of his guilt, and add its fifth to it, and give it to the one against whom he was guilty. But if the man has no kinsman to whom to make restitution, the debt which is restored to the Lord is to be given to the Kohen. This is because the atonement ran through, which expiation is made for him. Every offering of all the children of Israel's holy things which is brought to the Kohen shall be his. Everyone's holy things shall belong to him. Whatever a man gives to the Kohen shall be his. The Lord spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, Should any man's wife go astray and deal treacherously with him, and a man lie with her carnally, but it was hidden from her husband's eyes, but she was secluded with the suspected adulterer, and there was no witness against her, and she was not seized, but a spirit of jealousy had come upon him, and he became jealous of his wife, and she was defiled, or a spirit of jealousy had come upon him, and he was jealous of his wife, and she was not defiled. Then the man shall bring his wife to the Kohen, and bring her offering for her, 1/10 of an ephah of barley flour. He shall neither pour oil over it, nor put frankincense on it, for it is a meal offering of jealousies, a meal offering of remembrance, recalling iniquity. The Kohen shall bring her forth, and present her before the Lord. The Kohen shall take holy water in an earthen vessel, and some earth from the Mishkan floor. The Kohen shall take and put it into the water. Then the Kohen shall stand the woman up before the Lord and expose the hair on the head of the woman. He shall place into her hands the remembrance meal offering, which is a meal offering of jealousies, whilst the bitter curse-bearing waters are in the Kohen's hand. The Kohen shall then place her under oath and say to the woman, if no man has laid with you, and you have not gone astray, defiled to another in place of your husband, then you will be absolved through these bitter waters which cause the curse. But as for you, if you have gone astray to another instead of your husband, and have become defiled, and another man besides your husband has lain with you, the Kohen shall now adjure the woman with the oath of the curse, and the Kohen shall say to the woman, may the Lord make you for a curse and a offering, and an oath. May the Lord make you for a curse and an oath amongst your people, when the Lord causes your thigh to rupture and your belly to swell. For these curse-bearing waters shall enter your innards, causing the belly to swell and the thigh to rupture. And the woman shall say, Amen, Amen. Then the Kohen shall write these curses on a scroll and erase it in the bitter water. He shall then give the bitter curse-bearing waters to the woman to drink, and the curse-bearing waters shall enter her to become bitter. The Kohen shall take the meal offering of jealousies from the woman's hand, wave the meal offering before the Lord, and bring it to the altar. The Kohen shall scoop out from the meal offering its reminder and burn it upon the altar, and then he shall give the woman the water to drink. He shall make her drink the water, and it shall be that if she had been defiled and was unfaithful to her husband, the curse-bearing waters shall enter her to become bitter, and her belly will swell, and her thigh will rupture. The woman will be a curse amongst her people. But if the woman had not become defiled, and she is clean, and she shall be exempted and bear seed. This is the law of jealousies when a woman goes astray or someone other than her husband and is defiled. If a spirit of jealousy comes over a man, and he is jealous of his wife, and he presents the woman before the Lord, and the Kohen shall do to her all of this law, the man shall be absolved of iniquity. The man shall be absolved of iniquity, and the woman shall bear her iniquity. The Lord spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them, a man or a woman who sets himself apart by making a Nazirite vow to abstain for the sake of the Lord, he shall abstain from new wine and aged wine. He shall not drink even vinegar made from new wine or aged wine, nor shall he drink anything in which grapes have been steeped, and he shall eat neither fresh grapes nor dried ones. For the entire duration of his abstinence he shall not eat any product of the grapevine, from seeds to skins. All the days of his vow of abstinence no razor shall pass over his head until the completion of the terms that he abstains for the sake of the Lord. It shall be sacred, and he shall allow the growth of the hair of his head to grow wild. All the days that he abstains for the Lord, he shall not come into contact with the dead. To his father, to his mother, to his brother, or to his sister he shall not defile himself, if they die, for the crown of his God is upon his head. For the entire duration of his abstinence he is holy to the Lord. If someone in his presence dies unexpectedly or suddenly, and causes the Nazirite head to become defiled, he shall shave off the hair of his head on the day of his purification. On the 7th day he shall shave it off, and on the 8th day he shall bring 2 turtle doves or two young pigeons to the Kohen at the entrance to the tent of meeting. The Kohen shall prepare one for a sin offering and one for a burnt offering, and atone on his behalf for sinning by coming into contact with the dead, and he shall sanctify his head on that day. He shall consecrate to the Lord the period of his abstinence and bring a lamb in its first year as a guilt offering. The previous days shall be cancelled because his Naziriteship has been defiled. This is the law of the Nazirite. On the day his period of Naziriteship is completed, he shall present himself at the entrance to the tent of meeting. He shall bring his offering to the Lord, one unblemished lamb in its first year as a burnt offering, one unblemished ewe lamb in its first year as a sin offering, and one unblemished ram as a peace offering. And a basket of unleavened cakes, loaves of fine flour mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil, with their meal offerings and their bruisers. With their meal offerings and their libations. The Kohen shall present it before the Lord and perform the service of his sin offering and his burnt offering. He shall make the ram as a peace offering to the Lord, along with the basket of unleavened cakes, and the Kohen shall perform the service of its meal offering with its libation. The Nazarite shall shave the head of his Nazariteship at the entrance to the tent of meeting, and he shall take the hair of the head of his Nazariteship and place it upon the fire which is under the peace offering. The Kohen shall then take the cooked foreleg of the ram, one unleavened loaf from the basket, and one unleavened wafer, place them in the hands of the Nazarite after he has shaven off his Nazarite head. The Kohen shall wave them as a waving before the Lord. It is consecrated to the Kohen, along with the breast of the waving and the thigh of the uplifting. After this the Nazarite may drink wine. This is the law of a Nazarite who makes a vow. His offering to the Lord for his Nazariteship is in addition to what is within his means. According to the vow that he vows, so shall he do, in addition to the law of his Nazariteship. The Lord spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, This is how you shall bless the children of Israel, saying to them, May the Lord bless you and watch over you. May the Lord cause Adonai's countenance to shine to you and favor you. May the Lord raise Adonai's countenance toward you and grant you peace. They shall bestow my name upon the children of Israel, so that I will bless them. And it was that on the day that Moshe finished erecting the Mishkan, he anointed it, sanctified it, and all its vessels, and the altar and all its vessels, and he anointed them and sanctified them. The chieftains of Israel, the heads of their fathers' houses, presented their offerings. They were the leaders of the tribes. They were the ones who were present during the counting. They brought their offering before the Lord, 600 wagons and 12 oxen, a wagon for each 2 chieftains and an ox for each one. They presented them in front of the Mishkan. The Lord spoke to Moshe, saying, Take it from them and let them be utilized in the service of the tent of meeting. You shall give them to the Levites in accordance with each man's work. Moshe took the wagons and the cattle and gave them to the Levites. He gave 2 wagons and 4 oxen to the sons of Gershon according to their work. And he gave 4 wagons and 8 oxen to the sons of Merari according to their work, under the direction of Itamar the son of Aaron the priest. But to the sons of Kohath he did not give, for incumbent upon them was the work involving the holy objects which they were to carry on their shoulders. The chieftains brought offerings for the dedication of the altar on the day it was anointed. The chieftains presented their offerings in front of the altar. The Lord said to Moshe, 1 chieftain each day, 1 chieftain each day shall present his offering for the dedication of the altar. The one who brought his offering on the first day was Naso, the son of Aminadab of the tribe of Yehudah. And his offering was 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling shekel weighing 70 shekels, according to the holy shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. One spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering, 1 young he-goat for a sin offering, and for the peace offering 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Naso, the son of Aminadab. On the second day, Nathanael, the son of Zuar, the chieftain of Issachar, brought his offering. He brought his offering of of 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling basin weighing 70 shekels, according to the holy shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering. 1 young he goat for a sin offering, and for the peace offering 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he goats, 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Nathanael the son of Zoar. On the third day, the chieftain was of the sons of Zebulun, Eliab the son of Helon. His offering was 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling basin weighing 70 shekels, according to the holy shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering. 1 young he goat for a sin offering, and for the peace offering 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he goats, 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Eliab the son of Helon. On the fourth day, the chieftain was the sons of Reuben, Elizur the son of Shirudai. His offering was 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling basin weighing 70 shekels, according to the holy shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. 320 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering. 1 young he goat for a sin offering. And for the peace offering 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he goats, 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Elizur the son of Shidur. On the fifth day, the chieftain was of the sons of Shimon, Shelumiel the son of Zerushadai. His offering was 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling basins weighing 70 shekels, according to the holy shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering. 1 young he goat for a sin offering, and for the peace offering 2 oxen. 5 rams, 5 he goats, 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Shelumiel the son of Zerushadai. On the sixth day, the chieftain was of the sons of Gad, Eliasaph the son of Deuel. His offering was 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling basin weighing 70 shekels, according to the holy shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering. 1 young he goat for a sin offering, and for the peace offering 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he goats, 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Eliasaph the son of Deuel. On the seventh day, the chieftain was of the sons of Ephraim, Benjamin, Elishama the son of Ammihud. His offering was 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling basin weighing 70 shekels, according to the holy shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering. 1 young he goat for a sin offering. And for the peace offering 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he goats, 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Elishama the son of Ammihud. On the 8th day, the chieftain was of the sons of Manasseh, Gamliel the son of Pedazur. His offering was 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling basin weighing 70 shekels according to the holy shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering, 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering, 1 young he-goat for a sin offering, and for the peace offering 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Gamliel the son of Pedazur. On the 9th day, the chieftain was of the sons of Benjamin, Abidan the son of Gibihun. His offering was 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling basin, 70 shekels according to the holy shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering. 1 young he-goat for a sin offering, and for the peace offering 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs in their first year. With this was the offering of Abidan the son of Gideoni. On the 10th day, the chieftain was of the sons of Dan, Ahiezer the son of Ammishaddai. His offering was 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling basin weighing 70 shekels according to the holy shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering. 1 young he-goat for a sin offering, and for the peace offering 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Ahiezer the son of Ammishaddai. On the 11th day, the chieftain was of the sons of Asher, Pagiel the son of Ochran. His offering was 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling basin weighing 70 shekels according to the holy shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering. 1 young he-goat for a sin offering, and for the peace offering 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs in their first year. The 12th day, the chieftain was of the sons of Naphtali, Ahira the son of Anan. His offering was 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling basin weighing 70 shekels according to the holy shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering. 1 young he-goat for a sin offering, and for the peace offering 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Ahira the son of Anan. This was the dedication offering of the altar presented by the chieftains of the day it was anointed. There were 12 silver bowls, 12 silver basins, and 12 gold spoons. The weight of each silver bowl was 130 shekels, and that of each basin was 70 shekels. All the silver of the vessels weighed in total 2,400 shekels, according to the holy shekel. "12 gold spoons filled with incense, each spoon weighing 10 shekels, according to the holy shekel. All the gold spoons totaled 120 shekels. The total of the cattle for the burnt offering was 12 bulls, 12 rams, and 12 lambs in their first year with the meal offerings. And there were 12 young he-goats for sin offerings. The total of the cattle The total of cattle for the peace offerings was 20 for oxen, 60 rams, 60 goats, and 60 lambs. $60 he-goats and 60 lambs in their first year. This was the dedication offering for the altar after it was anointed. When Moshe would come into the tent of meeting to speak with Adonai, he would hear the voice speaking to him from the two cherubim above the covering, which was over the ark of testimony, and Adonai spoke to him. Bhagavad Gita, Shraddha Yavibhaga Yogehe, número 17. Arjuna said, when men sacrifice to the angels with faith but discard the injunctions of the scriptures, what is the nature of their devotion, O Krishna? Is it sattva, rajas, or tamas? Sri Krishna said, the faith of men born of their individual natures is of three kinds. It is characterized by sattva, rajas, and tamas. Hear now concerning it. The faith of each man is in accordance with his natural disposition. A man, O Bharata, is made of his faith, what his faith is. Men in whom sattva prevails honor the angels. Men in whom rajas prevails honor demi-angels and demons. And men in whom tamas prevails honor ghosts and disembodied spirits. Those vain and conceited men who, impelled by the force of their lusts and attachment, subject themselves to severe austerities not ordained by the scriptures, and fools that they are, torture all their bodily organs, and me too, who dwell within the body. Know that they are fiendish in their results. Even the food that is dear to all is of three kinds. Likewise are the sacrifices, austerities, and gifts. Hear now the distinction between them. Food that promotes longevity, vitality, strength, health, pleasure, appetite, and that is succulent, oleaginous, substantial, and agreeable, is favored by people endowed with sattva. Food that is excessively bitter, sour, salty, acrid, hot, dry, and burning is liked by people endowed with rajas, causes pain, grief, and disease. And food that is ill-cooked, tasteless, putrid, stale, unclean, and left over is favored by people endowed with tamas. That sacrifice is of the nature of sattva, which is offered according to the scriptural rules by those who expect no reward and who firmly believe that it is their duty to sacrifice. But that sacrifice which is performed in expectation of reward and for the sake of ostentation, they know that to be of that know that to be of the nature of rajas. And that sacrifice which is not performed according to the scriptural rules, and in which no food is distributed, no hymns are chanted, and to see and no fees paid, and which is devoid of faith, is said to be of the nature of tamas. Worship of honoring of the angels, of the twice born, of teachers, and of wise. Of the wise, cleanliness, uprightness, continence, and nonviolence. These are said to be the austerity of the body. Words that do not give offense, and that are truthful, pleasant, and beneficial, and also the regular recitation of the Vedas. These are said to be the austerity of speech. Serenity of mind, gentleness, silence, and self-control, and purity of heart. These constitute the austerity of the mind. This threefold austerity, practiced with supreme faith by steadfast men without the desire for fruit, is said to be of the nature of sattva. But the austerity that is serenity of mind, gentleness, silence, self-control, and purity of heart. These constitute the austerity of the mind. This threefold austerity, practiced with supreme faith by steadfast men without the desire for fruit, is said to be of the nature of sattva. The austerity that is practiced in order to gain respect, honor, and reverence, and for ostentation, is said to be of the nature of rajas. Its result is uncertain and transitory. The austerity that is practiced with a determination based on foolishness, by means of self-torture, or for the purpose of ruining another, is declared beginning the chapter again. This is the Bhagavad Gita, Shraddha Tra Yavi Bhaga Yogehe, numero 17. Arjuna said, when men sacrifice to the angels with faith but disregard the injunctions of the scriptures, what is the nature of their devotion, O Krishna? Is it sattva, rajas, or tamas? Sri Krishna said, the faith of men born of their individual natures is of three kinds. It is characterized by sattva, rajas, and or tamas. Here now concerning it. The faith of each man is in accordance with his natural disposition. A man, O Bharata, is made of his faith. What his faith is, that verily he is. Men in whom sattva prevails honor the angels. Men in whom rajas prevails honor demi-angels and demons. And men in whom tamas prevails honor ghosts and disembodied spirits. Those vain and conceited men who, impelled by the force of their lust and attachment, subject themselves to severe austerities not ordained by the scriptures, and fools that they are, torture all their bodily organs, and me too, who dwell within the body. Know that they are fiendish in their results. Even the food that is dear to all is of the three kinds. Likewise are the sacrifices, austerities, and gifts. Here now the distinctions between them. Food that promotes longevity, vitality, strength, health, pleasure, appetite, and that is succulent, oleaginous, substantial, and agreeable is favored by people endowed with sattva. Food that is excessively bitter, sour, salty, hot, acrid, dry, and burning is liked by people endowed with rajas. It causes pain, grief, and disease. And food that is ill-cooked, tasteless, putrid, stale, unclean, and left over is favored by people endowed with tamas. That sacrifice is of the nature of sattva, which is offered according to the scriptural rules by those who expect no reward and who firmly believe that it is their duty to sacrifice. But that sacrifice which is performed in expectation of reward and for the sake of ostentation, know that to be of the nature of rajas. And that sacrifice which is not performed according to the scriptural rules, and in which no food is distributed, no hymns are chanted, and no fees paid, and which is devoid of faith, is said to be of the nature of tamas. Honoring of the angels, of the twice born, of teachers, and of the wise. Cleanliness, uprightness, continence, and nonviolence. These are said to be the austerity of the body. Words that do not give up offense and that are truthful, pleasant, and beneficial, and also the regular recitation of the Vedas. These are said to be the austerity of speech. Serenity of mind, gentleness, silence, self-control, and purity of heart. These constitute the austerity of the mind. This threefold austerity practiced with supreme faith by steadfast man without the desire for fruit is said to be of the nature of sattva. The austerity that is practiced in order to gain respect, honor, and reverence, and for ostentation, as it is said to be of the nature of rajas. Its result is uncertain and transitory. The austerity that is practiced with a determination based on foolishness by means of self-torture or for the purpose of ruining another is declared to be of the nature of tamas. That gift which is made to one who can make no return, and with the feeling that it is one's duty to give, and which is given at the right place and time and to a worthy person, such a gift is held to be of the nature of sattva. But that which is given for the sake of recompense or with the expectation of fruit or in a grudging mood is accounted as of the nature of rajas. And the gift that is made without respect or with disdain at an improper place and time and to an unworthy person is declared to be of the nature of tamas. Om Tat Sat. This has been declared by the threefold designation of Brahman. By means of it were created all the Siti. At the beginning, the Brahmins, the Vedas, and the sacrifices. Therefore, the acts of sacrifice, gift, and austerity enjoined by the scriptures are always begun by the followers of the Vedas with the utterance of Om, and with the utterance of Tat, and without seeking any recompense are the various acts of sacrifice, austerity, and gift performed by those who seek liberation. The word Sat is utilized to denote reality and benevolence, and likewise, the word Sat is utilized for an inauspicious. The word Sat is utilized for an auspicious action. Steadfastness and sacrifice, austerity, and gift is also called Sat, and so too is any action connected therewith. Whatever sacrifice or gift is made, whatever austerity is practiced, whatever ceremony is observed, it is called asat, non-existence. If it is done without faith, it is of no account here or hereafter. Digha Nikaya, the Payasi Sutta, numero 23. Thus have I heard. The Venerable Kumara Kassapa was once walking on a tour in Kosala, together with a great company of bhikshus, to the number of about 500, and coming to the Kosalese city named Satavya, he there abode. And there the Venerable Kumara Kassapa dwelt to the north of Satavya, in the Simpasa tree grove. Now at that time the chieftain Payasi was residing at Satavya, a spot teeming with life, with much grassland and woodland, with water and corn, on a royal domain granted him by King Pasanadi of Kosala, as a royal gift, with power over it as if he were the king. Now at that time there came over Payasi an evil view of things, to this effect: neither is there any other world, nor are there beings reborn otherwise than from parents, nor is there fruit of or result of deeds well done or ill done. Now the Brahmins and householders of Satavya heard the news. They say that the wanderer Master Kassapa, disciple of the wanderer Gautama, walking on tour with a great company of bhikshus, to the number of about 500, has arrived at Satavya and is staying there to the north of the town, in the Simsapa tree grove. Now regarding that Master Kassapa, such is the excellent reputation that has been noised abroad. Wise and expert is he, abounding in knowledge and learning, eloquent and excellent in discourse, venerable to and an arahat, and benevolent is it to interview arahats like him. Then the Brahmins and householders of Satavya, coming out from the town in companies and bands from each district, so that they could be counted, and went by the north gate to the Simsapa tree grove. Now at that time Payasi the chieftain had gone apart to the upper terrace of his house for siesta. And seeing the people thus go by, he said to his doorkeeper, "Why are the people of Satavya going forth like this towards the Simpasa tree grove?" Then the doorkeeper told him the news, and he said, "Then, benevolent doorkeeper, go to the Brahmins and householders of Satavya, and say to them, Payasi, sirs, bids you wait. He will come himself to see the wanderer, Master Kassapa." The boy Kassapa will be winning over at the outset before those foolish and inexpert Brahmins and householders of Satavya to think there is both another world, and there are things who are born not of parents, and there is fruit and result of deeds well done and ill done. But my benevolent doorkeeper, these things do not exist. "Even so, sir," said the doorkeeper, and carried out his master's bidding. So Payasi the chieftain, surrounded by the Brahmins and householders of Satavya, came to the Simpasa tree grove, and finding the Venerable Kassapa, exchanged with him the greetings and compliments of politeness and courtesy, and took his seat on one side. And so the Brahmins and householders of Satavya, some of them bowed before the Venerable Kassapa and took their seats on one side. Some of them exchanged with him the greetings and compliments of politeness and courtesy, and then took their seats on one side. Some of them saluted him with joined hands and took their seat on one side. Some of them saluted him with joined palms and took their seats on one side. Some of them called out of their name and family, and did likewise. Some of them took their seats on one side in silence. When he was seated, Payasi spoke thus to the Venerable Master Kassapa: "I, Master Kassapa, am of this opinion of these views. Neither is there another world, nor are there beings reborn not of parents, nor is there fruit or result of deeds well done or ill done. I, Prince, have neither seen or heard of anyone holding such a view, such an opinion. How then can you declare as you do that there neither is another world nor rebirth as inheritor of the highest heavens, nor fruit or result of deeds well done or ill done. Wherefore, Prince, I will cross-question you herein, and do you reply in what way you may approve. What think you? Yon moon and soleil, are they in the world or in the in another world? Are they divine? Are they holy or human? This moon and soleil, Master Kasapa, are in another world, not in this. They are angels, not they are celestial beings, not human. Even though Master Kasapa says thus, it still appears to me that not one of these things exists. Have you, Prince, any proof to establish that they do not exist? I have, Master Kasapa. As how? Here it is, Master Kasapa. I've had friends, companions, relatives, men of the same blood as myself, who have taken life, committed thefts or fornication, have uttered lying, slanderous, abusive, gossiping speech, have been covetous of malign thoughts, of evil opinions. They anon have fallen of deathly suffering and disease. When I had understood that they would not recover from that illness, I have gone to them and said, according to the views and opinions held, sirs, by certain wanderers and Brahmins, they who break the precepts of ethics, when the body breaks up after death, are reborn into the waste, the woeful way, the fallen place, the pit. Now you, sirs, have been. Now you, sirs, have broken those precepts. If what those reverend wanderers and Brahmins say is true, this, sirs, will be your fate. If these things should befall you, sirs, come to me and tell me, saying, there is another world, there is rebirth not of parents, there is fruit and result of deeds well done and ill done. You, sirs, are for me trustworthy and reliable, and what you say you have seen will be even so, just as I myself had seen it. They have consented to do this, saying, very well, but they have neither come themselves nor dispatched a messenger. Now this, Master Kasapa, is evidence for me that there is neither another world, nor rebirth, not born by human nature, nor fruit or result of deeds well done or ill. Well then, Prince, I will ask you this, and do you answer even as you think fit. What think you? Take the census of men who have taken a felon red-handed and bring him up, saying, my master, this felon was caught in the act. Inflict what penalty you wish. He replies, well then, sirs, bind this man securely, his arms behind him with a strong cord, shave his head, lead him around the town, lead him around to the sound of a sharp drum, from street to street, from crossroad to crossroad, and from an out of the south gate there, south of the town, in the place of the execution, cut off his head. They assenting to with venerable, very benevolent, proceed to carry out these orders, and in the place of execution make him sit down. Now, would the felon gain permission of this sort from his executioners? Let my masters, the executioners, wait till I have visited my friends and advisers, my kinsmen by blood, in this or that village or town, and come back. Or would the executioners cut off the head of this vain talker? They would not grant the permission, Master Kasapa. They would cut off his head. But this felon, Sir Prince, is human and cannot get leave from human executioners. How much less then would your friends and relatives after death in the pit gain permission from the keepers of the pit, saying, let my masters the pit keepers wait till we have gone and told the chieftain Payasi that there is both another world and rebirth other than of parents, and fruit and result of deeds well done and ill. Be this exposition a proof to you, Prince, that these things exist. Even though Master Kasapa says this, it still appears to me that not one of these things exists. Have you, Prince, any further proof to establish that they do not exist? I have, Master Kasapa. And as how? Here it is, Master Kasapa. I've had friends and companions, kinsmen, men and of the same blood as myself, who have abstained from asking life, who have abstained from taking life, from committing thefts or fornication, from lying, slandering, rude or frivolous speech, who have not coveted or had malign thoughts or evil opinions. They anon have fallen ill of that of unholiness, unholy suffering, and they anon have fallen ill of deathly suffering and disease. When I had understood that they would not recover from that illness, I have gone to them and said, according, sirs, to the views and opinions held by some wanderers and Brahmins, they who keep the precepts of ethics, when the body breaks up, are after death reborn into the bright and happy world. Now you, sirs, have kept those precepts. If what those reverend samanas and Brahmins say is true, this, sirs, will be your fate. If these things should befall you, sirs, when you have been there reborn, come to me and let me know that there is both another world, both rebirth other than of parents, and fruit and result of deeds well done and ill. You, sirs, are for me trustworthy and reliable, and what you say you have seen will be even so, just as if I myself had seen it. They have consented to do this thing very well. Very well, but they have not come and let me know, nor have they dispatched a messenger. Now this again, Master Kasapa, is evidence to me that there is neither another world nor rebirth other than parentage, no fruit and result of deeds well done and ill done. Well then, Prince, I will make you a simile, for by a simile some intelligent persons will recognize the meaning of what is said. Just as if a man were plunged head down into a pit of mire, and you were to order men, saying, well, now, masters, pull the man out of that pit. They say, very well, were to comply and pull him out. You were then to say to them, well, now, masters, brush the mire, smearing from off his body, and smear split bamboo. And they were to obey you, and you were to say to them, well, now, masters, shampoo this man's body, a treble massage with yellow shampoo powder. And they were to do so, and you were to say to them, now, masters, rub him with oil and bathe him 3 times utilizing fire khunam. And they were to do so. And you were to say to them, well, masters, now dress his hair. And they were to do so. And you were to say to them, now, masters, deck him out with a costly garland, and costly unguent, and costly garments. And they were to do so. And you were to look and say to them, well, masters, take him up on the palace and amuse him with the pleasures of the 5 senses. And they were to do so. Now what think you, O chieftain? Would this man, well bathed, well anointed, shaved and combed, dressed and wreathed and adorned, now what think you, O chieftain? Would this man, well bathed and well anointed, shaved and combed, dressed, wreathed and adorned, clad in clean raiment, taken to the upper palace, and indulging in surrounded by, treated to, the 5 pleasures of sense, being desirous of being plunged once further into that pit of mire, No, indeed, Master Kasapa. And why? Foul, Master Kasapa, is a pit of mire, foul and counted as such, stinking, disgusting, repulsive, and counted as such. Even so, Prince, are human beings in the eyes of the angels, foul and counted as such, stinking, disgusting, repulsive, and counted as much. The smell of man offends the celestial beings, and honored 100 leagues away. What then? Shall your friends and companions, your kinsmen and connections, who, having kept the precepts, are reborn into the bright and happy place, come and bring you word that there is another world, that there is rebirth other than by parentage, that there is fruit and result of deeds well done or ill done? Let this exposition, chieftain, be evidence to you that these things exist. Even though Master Kasapa says so, it still appears to me that not one of these things exists. Have you any other further proof, Prince? I have, Master Kasapa. As how? Here it is, Master Kasapa. I have had friends, companions, kinsmen, men of the same blood as myself, who kept the precepts, abstaining from taking life, from taking what was not given, from inchastity, lying speech, and strong intoxicating liquors. They anon have fallen deathly ill, and I, having told them how some samanas and brahmins say that after such a life one would be reborn in the communion of the 33 angels, and having asked them if they were so reborn, to come and let me know that there was another world, birth other than of parents, and fruit and result of deeds well done and ill done. They have promised to do so, but they have neither come and told me nor sent a messenger. This, Master Kasapa, is evidence to me that not one of those things exists. Well then, Prince, I will reply by asking you something, and do you answer as you think fit. That which, humanly speaking, is a century, this is to the 33 celestial beings, is one night and day. Of such a night, 30 nights are the month. Of such a month, 12 months are the year. Of such a year, the celestial 1,000 years are the lifespan of the 33 angels. Those of whom you now speak will have attained rebirth into the communion of these angels. If it should occur to them thus, let us for 2 or 3 days indulge ourselves, steeped in the 5 pleasures of sense, and thereafter let us go and tell the chieftain Payasi that there is another world, rebirth other than of parents, and fruit and result of deeds well done and ill done. Would they have come to you and told you so? Certainly not, Master Kasapa, for we should have been dead long before. But who lets Master Kasapa know all these things? That there are 33 celestial beings, or that the 33 angels live so many years? We do not believe him when he says these things. That prince is just as if there were a man born blind who could see not objects as dark or bright, as blue, yellow, red, or brown, who could not see things as smooth or rough, nor the stars, nor the moon, nor the soleil. And he were to say, there are none of these things, nor any one capable of seeing them. I don't know them, I don't see them, therefore they don't exist. Would one so speak rightly? Prince, not so, Master Kasapa. The visual objects of which you speak do exist, and so does the faculty of seeing them. To say I don't know them, I don't see them, therefore they don't exist, that would not be speaking rightly. But even so, methinks, do you, Prince, talk like the blind man in my parable when you say, but he who lets Master Kasapa know that there are 33 celestial beings, or that the 33 celestial beings live so many years away that we do not believe him. When he says these things, for Prince, the other world is not, as you imagine, to be regarded with this fleshly eye. Those wanderers and Brahmins who haunt the lonely and remote recesses of the forest, where sound there hardly is, they there abiding, strenuous, ardent, aloof, purifying the eye divine, they that purified, they by that purified eye divine, passing the vision of men, see both this world and that other world, and beings reborn not of parents. In this way, Prince, is the other world to be seen, and not even as you imagine, by this fleshly eye. Let this be a proof to you that there is another world, and that there are beings born not of parents, that is fruit. There is fruit and result of deeds well done and ill done. Even though Master Kasapa says so, yet it still appears to me that not one of these things exists. Have you any further evidence, Prince? I have, Master Kasapa. As how? Here it is, Master Kasapa. I see wanderers and Brahmins, ethical and virtuous, and of virtuous dispositions, fond of life, averse from dying, fond of happiness, shrinking from sorrow. Then I think, Master Kasapa, if these benevolent wanderers and Brahmins were to know this, when once we were a dead, we shall be better off. Once, when we are dead, we shall be better off. Then these benevolent men would take poison or stab themselves, or put an end to themselves by hanging, or throw themselves from precipices. And it is because they do not know that once dead they will be better off, that they are fond of life, averse from dying, fond of happiness, disinclined for sorrow. This, Master Kasapa, is for me evidence that there is no other world, no beings reborn otherwise than that of parents. No fruit and no result of deeds well and ill done. Well then, Prince, I'll make you a simile, for by way of a simile some wise men discern the meaning of what is spoken. Once upon a time, Prince, there was a Brahmin who had 2 wives. By one he had a son 10 or 12 years of age, the other was pregnant and near her time. Then the Brahmin died. Now the boy said to his co-wife, whatever treasure there is, lady, or grain, whatever the treasure there is, lady, or grain, or silver, or gold, all that is mine. There is nothing here for you whatever. Make over to me, lady, the heritage of my far. Then the Brahmini made answer to him, wait, my lad, till my child is born. If 'twill be a boy, one portion shall be his. If a girl, she shall wait on you. But the boy reiterated his claim again and yet again. Then the Brahmini, taking a sword, entered an inner room and ripped up her belly, saying, if I can only find out whether 'tis a boy or a girl. Thus did she destroy both her own life, and her unborn infant, and her wealth also, through the foolish and thoughtless way in which seeking a heritage, she met with ruin and disaster. Even so, you, prince, foolish and thoughtless that you are, will meet with ruin and disaster by seeking without wisdom for another world. Ethical and virtuous wanderers and Brahmins do not force maturity on that which is unripe. They, being wise, wait for that maturity. The virtuous have need of their life. In proportion to the length of time such men abide here, is the abundant merit that they produce and accomplish for the welfare of many, for the happiness of many, out of compassion for the world, for the advantage, the welfare, the happiness of celestial beings and men. Let this then be a proof to you, Prince, that there is another world, that there is a rebirth other than of parentage, that there is fruit and result of deeds well and ill done. Even though Master Kassapa says so, it still appears to me that not one of these things exists. Have you any further evidence, Prince? I have, Master Kassapa. As how, Prince? Here it is, Master Kassapa. Take the case of men who, having taken a felon red-handed, bring him up, saying, "This felon, my master, was caught in the act. Inflict on him what penalty you wish." And I should say, "Well then, my masters, throw this man alive into a jar, close the mouth of it, and cover it over with wet leather. Put over that a thick cement of moist clay. Put it on to the furnace, and kindle a fire." They say, "Very well," would obey me and kindle a fire. When we knew that the man was dead, we should take down the jar, unbind and open the mouth, and quickly observe it, with the idea perhaps we may see the soul of him coming out. We don't see the soul of him coming out. This, Master Kassapa, is for me evidence that there neither is another world nor rebirth other than by parentage, nor fruit or result of deeds well or ill done. Well then, Prince, I will in reply ask you something, and do you answer as you may please. Do you not admit, Prince, that when you are taking siesta, you see dreams of enjoyment in garden, grove, country, or lakeside? I do admit it, Master Kassapa. Are you at that time watched over by attendant women, hunchbacks, and dwarfs, and maidens, and gifts? That is so, Master Kassapa. Do they see your soul entering or leaving you? Not so, Master Kassapa. Even though Master Kassapa says so, it still appears to me that not one of those things exists. Have you any other further evidence, Prince? I have, Master Kassapa. Take the case of Master Kassapa of men taking a felon red-handed and bringing him up, saying, "Master, my master, we caught this fellow in the act. Inflict what penalty you wish." And I say, "Well then, my masters, take this man and weigh him alive, then strangle him with a bowstring and weigh him again." And they did so. Whilst he lives, he is further buoyant, supple, wieldy. When he is dead, he is weightier, stiffer, unwieldier. This, Master Kassapa, is evidence for me that there is neither another world nor rebirth other than by human parentage, nor fruit, nor result of deeds well done or ill done. Well now, Prince, I will give you a simile, for by way of a simile some wise men discern the meaning of what is said. It is just as if, Prince, a man were to weigh in a balance a ball of iron that had been heated all day and was burning and glowing with heat, and were to weigh it out later on in a balance when it was cool and quenched. When would that ball of iron be lighter, softer, and further plastic? When it was burning and glowing with heat, or when it was cool and quenched? When, Master Kassapa, that ball of iron with its lambent and gaseous concomitants is burning and glowing with heat, then it is lighter, softer, further plastic. But when without those lambent and gaseous concomitants, it is cool and quenched. It is then heavier, further rigid, less plastic. Even so, Prince, when this body has its concomitants of life, heat, and intelligence, then it is lighter, softer, and further plastic. But when it lacks those three concomitants, then it is heavier, further rigid, less plastic. Even though Master Kasaba says this, it still appears to me that not one of those things one of those things exists. Not one of those things exists. Have you any further evidence, Prince? I have, Master Kasapa. What might that be? Take the case, Master Kasapa, of the men taking a felon red-handed and bringing him up, saying, "My master, this felon was caught in the act. Inflict on him what penalty you wish." And I say, "Well, my master is to kill this man by stripping off cuticle and skin and flesh and sinews and bones and marrow." They do so, and when he is half dead, I say, "Lay him on his back, and perhaps he may see the soul of him pass out." And they do so, but we see the passing of no soul. Then I say, "Well then, let him bend over on his side, on the other side, stand him up, stand him down." Then I say, "Well then, lay him bent over on his side, on the other side, stand him up, stand him on his head, smite him with your hand, with clods on this side or on that side, all over, or perhaps we may see the soul of him pass out." And they do so, but we see the passing of no soul. He has insight, and there are forms, but the organ does not perceive them. He has hearing, and there are sounds, but the organ does not perceive them. He has smell, and there are odors, but the organ does not perceive them. He has a tongue, and there are tastes, but the organ does not perceive them. He has a mouth, he has a body, and there are tangibles, but the organ does not perceive them. This, Master Kasapa, is for me evidence that there is neither another world nor rebirth other than of parents, nor fruit or result of deeds well or ill done. Well then, Prince, I will give you a simile, for by way of a simile some wise men discern the meaning of what is said. Once upon a time, Prince, a certain trumpeter, taking his trumpet of chink shell, traveled to the folk on the border. When he came to a certain village, he stood in its midst, and blew thrice on his trumpet. When laying it on the ground, sat down beside it. Now, Prince, those border folk thought, "Who is this sound so charming, so lovely, so sweet, so constraining, so enervating, coming together?" as they asked the trumpeter. "This, my masters, is what men call a trumpet, the sound whereof is so charming, so lovely, so sweet, so constraining, so enervating." They laid the trumpet on its back, and it said, "Speak, master trumpet, speak." No sound did the trumpet make. They laid the trumpet curving downwards on this side, on that side. They stood it upright. They stood it topsy-turvy. They struck it with their hands, with a clod, with a stick, with a sword, one on one side, on one side, on the other, on every side, saying, "Speak, master trumpet, speak, master trumpet." Then Prince the trumpeter thought, "How silly are these border-born men, whilst we live seek so senselessly for the trumpet's sound." And whilst they looked on, he took his trumpet, blew thrice upon it, and taking it with him, went away. Then, Prince, those bordermen thought thus, when forsooth there was with that trumpet of man, and an effort, and ere that same trumpet made sounds, but when there was with it neither man, nor effort, nor air, that same trumpet made no sounds. Even so, Prince, when this body has its concomitants of life, heat, and intelligence, then it goes about and comes back. It stands and sits and lies down. It sees forms with the eye, hears sounds with the ear, smells odors with the smell, tastes with the tongue, touches the tangible with the body, cognizes things with the mind. But when it lacks those three concomitants, it can do none of these things. Let this prince be to you for a proof that there both is another world, rebirth other than of parents, and fruit and result of deeds well and ill done. Even though Master Kasaba says this, it still appears to me that there is neither another world nor rebirth other than of parents, nor fruit or result of deeds well or ill done. Have you any other evidence, Prince? I have, Master Kasapa. What may that be like? Take the case, Master Kasapa, of men who have taken a felon red-handed and bring him up, saying, "My master, we caught this felon in the act. Inflict on him what penalty you wish." And I say, "Well, my masters, flay this man alive. Perchance we may see the soul of him passing out." They do so, but no passing of the soul of him do we see. And in cutting out his integument and his flesh and his nerves, and breaking his bones and extracting the marrow thereof, still no soul of him do we see. This, Master Kasapa, is for me evidence that there is neither another world nor rebirth other than of parents, nor fruit or result of deeds well or ill done. Well now, Prince, I will give you a simile, for it is by way of a simile that some intelligent men discern the meaning of what is spoken. Once upon a time, Prince, a fire worshipper Jatila was dwelling in a leaf hut in a woodland spot. Now the people of a certain countryside migrated, and their leader, after spending one night near the Jatila's hermitage, went away. Then the Jatila thought, if I were to go to that leader's camp, I might perhaps get something useful. And rising up betimes, he came to the leader's camp, and there he saw abandoned and lying on its back a little baby. And when he saw it, he thought, "It is not fit that I should let a human being die whilst I look on. What if I were to carry this baby to my hermitage, and foster, tend, and rear it?" So he carried the baby to his hermitage, and fostered, tended, and reared it. When the boy had attained the age of 10 or 12 years, it happened that the Jatila had something or other to do in the countryside. So he said to the boy, "I want to go to the countryside, my lad. Keep up the fire, let not it go out. If it should go out, here is a hatchet, here are sticks, here is the fire drill, so that if you do not let the fire out, you can rekindle it again." And having thus instructed the boy, the Jatila went off to the countryside, intent upon his way. The boy let the fire out. Then he thought, "Far told me, tend the fire, my lad, let it not go out. If it should go out, here is a hatchet, here are sticks, here is a fire drill, so that if you do let the fire go out, you can rekindle it again." What if I were now to do so? Then the boy chopped the fire drill with the hatchet, thinking, perhaps that's how I shall get fire. No fire got he. He split the fire drill in twain, in 3, 4, 5, 10, 100 portions. He made it into piecemeal, He then pounded it in a mortar and windowed it in the window, thinking that so he might perhaps get fire. No fire he got. Then the Jatila, having accomplished his business, came back to his own hermitage and said to the boy, "Why, child, have you let the fire go out?" "Far, the fire went out because I was busy at my game." Then I thought of what you had told me, and I set about rekindling it. And I chopped the fire drill with the hatchet to get fire, but no fire came. And when I went on till I smashed the fire drill into atoms, pounded it in a mortar, and winnowed it in the wind, but I never got any fire. Then the Jatila thought, "How silly, how unintelligent is the lad! Why will he be seeking fire in this senseless manner?" And whilst the boy looked on, he took a fire drill, and making fire said to him, "This is how to make fire, my lad. One doesn't try to get it as you, so silly and unintelligent, were trying. Even so, prince, have you, silly and unintelligent, sought after another world? Renounce, prince, this evil set of opinions. Let not let them not involve you for long in bale and sorrow." Even though Master Casaba says this, I still cannot bring myself to renounce this evil set of opinions. King Pasanadi de Costa knows me, and so do foreign kings, as holding to the creed and the opinion that there is neither another world nor rebirth other than of parents, nor fruit or result of deeds well or ill done. If I, Master Kasapa, renounce these If I, Master Kasapa, renounce these opinions, people will say of me, "How silly is Prince Payasi, how unintelligent, how badly he grasps anything. In wrath thereat will I keep to it, in guile will I keep to it, in self-respect will I keep to it." Well then, Prince, I will give you a simile, for it is by way of a simile that some intelligent men discern the meaning of what has been said. Once upon a time, Prince, a great caravan of 1,000 carts was going from the east country into the west country. Wherever it went, it consumed swiftly straw, wood, water, and verdure. Now in that caravan were 2 caravan leaders, each commanding one half of the carts. And this occurred to them: "This is a great caravan, one of 1,000 carts. Wherever we go, we consume everything. What if we were to divide this caravan into two, 500 carts in each?" So they divided that caravan into 2 equal portions. Then one of the leaders collected large quantities of straw, wood, and water, and started his carts. On the second or third march, the leader saw a swarthy, red-eyed man coming from the opposite direction, armed with a quiver, wearing a lotus wreath, his garments and hair wet, and driving a chariot drawn by asses, its wheel splashed with mud. When he saw this man, he said, "Whence come you, sir? Whither go you?" "To such and such a district." Has there, sir, been any great fall of rain recently in the jungle? Yes, indeed, sir. There has been a great rain in the jungle just in front of the roads. Just in front. The roads are well watered. There is much grass and wood and water. Throw away the grass and wood and water, sir, you have already got. With light laden carts you will go quite quickly. Do not tire your teams. Then the leader told his carters what the man had said, and bade them throw away their provender and wood, and that the caravan might travel further quickly. So be it, sir, the carters replied, and did so. But at their first camp they saw no grass or wood or water, nor at the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh camp. So they all met with ruin and disaster. And then that fiend, the Yaka, devoured all the men and the cattle in that caravan, leaving only the bones behind. When the second caravan leader knew that the other caravan had got well on its way, he took in large supplies of grass and wood and water and set out. And he too met a swarthy, red-eyed man and exchanged with him the same remarks, and also was bidden to throw away his provender. So be it, sir, agreed the carters, and went on with the stock they had loaded. And at 7 successive camping places they saw no grass or wood or water, but they saw the other caravan that had come to grief, and they saw the skeletons of the men and the cattle devoured by the Yaka fiend. Even though Master Kasaba says this, I still cannot bring myself to renounce this evil set of opinions. King Pasenadi the Kosalan knows me, and so do foreign kings, as holding to the creed and the opinion that there is neither another world nor rebirth other than of parents by human parentage, nor fruit or result of deeds well or ill done. Well and ill done. If I, Master Kasaba, renounce these opinions, people will say of me, how silly is Prince Payasi, how unintelligent, how badly he grasps anything. And wrath thereat will I keep it, and guile will I keep it, and self-respect will I keep it. Well then, Prince, I will give you a simile, for it is by way of a simile that some intelligent men discern the meaning of what has been said. Once upon a time, Prince, a certain swineherd was going from his own village to another village. There he saw a heap of dry dung thrown away. Seeing it, he thought, that's a lot of dry dung. Throw it away. A lot of dry dung thrown away, which will feed my pigs. What if I were to carry it away? So he spread out his cloak, and collecting the dry dung, tied it into a bundle, and lifting it onto his head, went on. In the after part of his journey there fell a heavy shower of rain out of season. He splashed with muck up to his nail tips. Bearing his oozing, dripping dung burden, went on his way. And men seeing him said, Gramercy, you must be mad. You must be out of your senses. How can you tote along that oozing, dripping load of dung, splashed with muck to your nail tips? It's you that are mad. You that are out of your senses. By this my pigs will get food. Even so, methinks, Prince, do you talk like this dung-carrying simile. Renounce, Prince, this evil set of opinions. Renounce them, I say. Let them not be long a cause of bale and sorrow to you. Even though Master Kasaba says this, I cannot bring myself to renounce this evil set of opinions. King Pasenadi of the Kosala knows me, and so do foreign kings, as holding to the creed and the opinion that there is neither another world nor rebirth other than of parents by human parentage, or fruit or result of deeds well or ill done. If I, Master Kasaba, renounce these opinions, people will say of me, how silly is Prince Payasi, how unintelligent, how bad is his grasp of things. In anger thereat will I keep it to it, and guile will I keep to it. Well then, Prince, I will give you a simile, for it is by way of a simile that some intelligent men discern the meaning of what is said. Once upon a time, Prince, two gamesters were playing with dice. One gamester swallowed as it came each adverse die. The other gamester saw him do this, and said, Look here, friend, You've won outright. Give me the dice. I'll make a votive offering of them. Well, friend, said the other, and handed over the dice. Then the second gamester smeared over the dice with poison and proposed to the former, "Come along, friend, let's play." "Well, friend," replied the other, again. Therefore they played, and again that gamester swallowed each adverse die. The second gamester saw him doing this and said, "The man knows not the swallowed die with sharpest burning is smeared, or swallow you false cheat, swallow now. Bitter the hour at hand for you." Even though Master Kasapa says this, I still cannot bring myself to renounce this evil set of opinions. King Pasenadi the Kosa knows me, and so do foreign kings as holding to the creed and opinion that there is neither another world nor rebirth other than of parents, nor fruit or result of deeds well or ill done. If I, Master Kasapa, renounce these opinions, people will say, how silly is Prince Payasi, how unintelligent, how bad is his grasp of things. And wrath thereat will I keep to it, in guile will I keep to it, in self-respect will I keep to it. Well then, Prince, I will give you a simile, for it is by way of a simile that some intelligent men discern the meaning of what is said. Once upon a time, Prince, a certain countryside migrated, and one man said to his crony, "Let's go, friend, to that countryside. Perhaps we may come upon some treasure." "Well, friend," assented the other. And they came to where in that countryside there was a certain village street. There they saw a heap of hemp thrown away. Then one said to the other, "Here's a heap of hemp. Do you make some into a bundle? I'll do the same, and we'll carry it away." The other consented, and they did so. Bearing this burden, they went on to another village street. There they saw a heap of hempen thread thrown away, and one said to the other, This heap of hempen thread thrown away is just the thing we want hemp for." "Well then, friend, you throw away your load of hemp, I'll throw away mine, and we'll take away each a load of hempen thread. I've brought this load of hemp a long way, friend, and it's well tied up. That's enough for me. You choose for yourself." So the former changed his load for one of hempen thread. And one said to the other, "This heap of hempen cloths is just the thing we want." Then they came to another village street. There they saw a heap of hempen cloths, and the one said to the other, "This heap of hempen cloths is just the thing we want hemp for, or hempen thread for." "Well then, friend, do you throw away your load of hemp, I'll throw away my load of hempen thread, and we'll each take a load of hempen cloth. I've brought this load of hemp a long way, friend, and it's well tied up. That's enough for me. You choose for yourself." So the former changed his load for one of hempen cloth. Then they came to another village street. There they saw a heap of flax, and to another where they saw linen thread, and to another where they saw linen cloth. And at each place the one crony made a change for the better, the other retained his hemp. Further they saw cotton down, cotton thread, and a calico, and the same thing happened. Further they saw iron, copper, tin, lead, silver, gold. So that in the end, the one crony had a load of gold, the other of hemp. So they came to their own village. There the crony who had brought a load of hemp pleased neither his parents nor his own family, nor his friends, and won neither pleasure or happiness. But the other with his load of gold both gave and won pleasure. Even like the simile of the load of hemp, methinks, Prince, is what you say. Renounce, Prince, this evil set of opinions. Renounce them, I say. Let them not be long a source of bale and sorrow to you. With Master Kasaba's first simile I was pleased, I was charmed. Further, I wanted to hear his ready wit in questions, for I regarded Master Kasaba as one who was to be opposed. It is wonderful, Master Kasaba. It is marvelous. Just as if one were to set up what was what has been upset, or were to reveal that which has been hidden away, or to point out the road to the bewildered, or were to bring a lamp into the darkness, so that they that have eyes may see. Even so has the truth been declared in many a figure by Master Kasapa, and even I betake myself to refuge to Gautama, the Exalted One, to the Dharma, and to the Sangha. May Master Kasapa accept me as a disciple, as one who from this day forth, as long as life endures, has taken him as his guide. And I should like Master Kasapa to offer a great sacrifice. Let Master Kasapa instruct me herein, that it may bring me long welfare and happiness. At the sort of sacrifice, Prince, where oxen are slain, or goats or fowls and pigs or diverse creatures are put an end to, and those that take part in the sacrifice have wrong views, wrong intention, wrong speech, wrong action, wrong livelihood, wrong endeavor, wrong mindfulness, wrong rapture. Such a sacrifice, Prince, is neither of great fruitfulness, nor of great benefit, nor of great renown, nor of widespread effect. It is just as if a tiller, Prince, were to enter a wood, taking with him plow and seed, and were there in an untilled tract, in unfavorable soil, amongst unuprooted stumps, to plant seeds that were broken, rotten, spoilt by wind and heat, out of season, not in benevolent condition, and the celestial being were not to give benevolent rain in due season. Would those seeds attain to growth, increase, and expansion, or would the farmer get abundant returns? No, indeed, Master Kasapa. So is it, Prince, that with that sort of sacrifice. But where, Prince, neither oxen are slain, nor goats, nor fowls and pigs, nor are diverse creatures put an end to, and those that partake of the sacrifice have right views, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right endeavor, and right mindfulness, right rapture, such a sacrifice is a great fortune of great renown, of widespread effect. It is just as if a tiller, Prince, were to enter a wood, taking with him plow and seed, and were there in a well-tilled tract in favorable soil, well cleared of stumps, to plant seed that was unbroken, free from mildew, unspoiled by wind or heat, in season and in benevolent condition, and the celestial being were to give benevolent rain in due season. Would those seeds grow, increase? Would those seeds grow, increase, expand, and would the tiller get abundant returns? He would indeed, Master Kasapa. So is it, Prince, that with that sort of sacrifice, where no creatures are put to death, and those that take part therein are of high character. Such a sacrifice is of great fruitfulness, benefit, renown, and widespread effect. Then Prince Payasi instituted a gift to wanderers and Brahmins, the poor, wayfarers, beggars, and petitioners. And that gift such food was given as gruel and scraps of food and coarse robes and ball fringes. And at that gift a young Brahmin named Uttara was passed over. When the largesse had been distributed, he mocked, saying, "By this largesse I have met Prince Payasi in this world, but how about the next?" Payasi heard of this and sent word to Uttara, asking him if it was true that he was saying this. "Yes, sir," replied Uttara. "But why have you been saying this, my dear Uttara? Do not we who are seeking merit look for result from giving? And your gift, sir, such food as gruel and broken meats are given, which you, sir, would not touch with your foot, much less eat. Also coarse ball-fringed robes, which you, sir, would not deign to utilize as carpets, much less to wear. You, sir, are pleasant and dear to us. How are we to associate what is pleasant and dear with what is unpleasant? Well then, my dear Uttara, do you arrange that such food shall be given as I eat, and such garments be given as I wear. Very well, sir, replied Uttara, and did so. Now Prince Payasi, inasmuch as he had bestowed his gift without thoroughness, not with his own hands, without due thought, as something discarded, was, after his death, reborn into the communion of the four great kings in the empty mansion of the acacia. But the youth Uttara, who had objected to that gift and had bestowed his gift thoroughly with his own hands, with due thought, not as something discarded, was after his death reborn in a bright and happy world into the communion of the 33 celestial beings. Now at that time the venerable Gavampati used to frequently go for siesta to the empty mansion of the acacia, and Payasi, now one of the celestial beings, came up to him, and saluting him stood on one side. To him so standing, the venerable Gavampati said, Who art thou, friend? I, sir, am Prince Payasi. Were thou not once of the opinion that there was no other world, no rebirth other than of parents, no fruit or result of deeds well or ill done? I was indeed, sir, but through his reverence Kumara Kassapa, I detached myself from that evil set of opinions. But the youth Uttara, who objected to thy gift, friend, whereunto has he been reborn? He, sir, having objected to my gift, and having himself bestowed a gift thoroughly, he with his own hands, with due thought, not as something discarded, has since he died been reborn in the bright and happy state, in the bright and happy world, into the communion of the 33 celestial beings. I, sir, inasmuch as I bestowed my gift without thoroughness, not with my own hand, without due thought, as something discarded, was after my death reborn into the communion of the four great kings in the empty mansion of Acacia. Wherefore, Gavampati, sir, go thou into the world of men and tell them, Give ye your gifts with thoroughness, with your own hands, with due thought, and give not as if ye were discarding somewhat. For so did not Prince Payasi, and he after his death was reborn into the communion of the four great kings in the empty mansion of the Acacia. But the youth Uttara, who bestowed his gifts in the right way, was after his death reborn into the bright and happy world, into the communion of the 33 celestial beings. So the venerable Gavampati came back to the world of men, and there told these things. Gospels, John 1:2. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word was with God in the beginning. Through God all things were made. Without God nothing was made that has been made. In God was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. God was in the world, and though the world was made through God, the world did not recognize God. God came to that which was God's own, but God's own did not receive God. Yet to all who did receive God, to those who believe in God's name, God gave the right to become children of God. Children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision, nor a husband's will, but born of God. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling amongst us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son who came from the Creator, full of grace and truth. John testified concerning him. He cried out, saying, "This is the one I spoke about when I said, 'He who comes after me has surpassed me, because he was before me.'" Out of his fullness we have all received grace in place of grace already given. For the law was given through Moshe, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God but the one and only Son, who is in the closest relationship with the Creator. God has made him known. Now this was John's testimony when the Jewish brethren leaders in Jerusalem sent priests and Levites to ask him who he was. He did not fail to confess, but confessed freely, "I am not the Messiah." They asked him then, "Who are you? Are you Eliyahu?" He said, "I am not." "Are you a prophet?" He answered, "No." Finally they said, "Who are you? Give us an answer to take back to those who sent us. What do you say about yourself?" John replied in the words of Isaiah the prophet, "I am the voice of one calling in the wilderness, make straight the way for God." Now the Pharisees who had been sent questioned him, "Why then do you baptize if you are not the Messiah, nor Eliyahu, nor the prophet?" "I baptize with water," John replied, "but amongst you stands one you do not know. He is the one who comes after me, the straps of whose sandals I am not worthy to untie." This all happened at Bethany on the other side of the Jordan, where John was baptizing. The next day John saw Jesus coming towards him and said, "Look, the Lamb of God, who takes away the sin of the world. This is the one I meant when I said, 'A man who comes after me has surpassed me, because he was before me.' I myself did not know him, but the reason I came baptizing with water was that he might be revealed to Israel." Then John gave this testimony, "I saw the Spirit come down from heaven as a dove and remain on him. And I myself did not know him, but the one who sent me to baptize with water told me, 'The man on whom you see the Spirit come down and remain is the one who will baptize with the Holy Spirit.' I have seen and I testify that this is God's chosen one." The next day John was there again with two of his disciples. When he saw Jesus passing by, he said, "Look, the Lamb of God." When the two disciples heard him say this, they followed Jesus. Turning around, Jesus saw them following and asked, "What do you want?" They said, "Rabbi," which means teacher, "where are you staying?" "Come," he replied, "and you will see." So they went and saw where he was staying, and they spent that day with him. It was about 4 in the afternoon. Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, was one of the two who heard what John had said and who had followed Jesus. The first thing Andrew did was to find his brother Simon and tell him, "We have found the Messiah," that is, the Christ. And he brought him to Jesus. Jesus looked at him and said, "You are Simon, son of John. You will be called Cephas," which when translated is Peter. The next day Jesus decided to leave for Galilee. Finding Philip, he said to him, "Follow me." Philip, like Andrew and Peter, was from the town of Bethsaida. Philip found Nathanael and told him, "We have found the one Moshe wrote about in the law, about whom the prophets also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." "Nazareth, can anything benevolent come from there?" Nathanael asked. "Come and see," said Philip. When Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, he said of him, "Here truly is an Israelite in whom there is no deceit." "How do you know me?" Nathanael asked. Jesus answered, "I saw you whilst you were still under the fig tree before Philip called you." Then Nathanael declared, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." Jesus said, "You believe because I told you I saw you under the fig tree? You will see greater things than that." He then added, "Very truly I tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man." On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mor was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mor said to him, "They have no further wine." "Woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied, "My hour has not yet come." His Moor said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood stick Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind utilized by the Jewish brethren for ceremonial washing, each holding up from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so. And the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not understand where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink, but you have saved the best till now." What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After this he went down to Capernaum, and with his Moor and brothers and his disciples. There they stayed for a few days. When it was almost time for the Jewish Passover, Pesach, the Jewish brethren Pesach, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple courts he found people selling cattle, sheep and doves, and others sitting at table exchanging money. So he made a whip out of cords and drove all of them from the temple courts, both sheep and cattle. He scattered the coins of money changers and overturned their tables. To those who sold doves he said, Get these out of here. Stop making my Creator's house into a market." His disciples remember that it is written, "Zeal for your house will consume me." The Jewish brethren then responded to him, "What sign can you show us to prove your authority to do all this?" Jesus answered them, "Destroy this temple and I will raise it again in 3 days." They replied, "It has taken 46 years to build this temple, and you are going to raise it in 3 days." But the temple he had spoken of was his body. After he was raised from the dead, his disciples recalled what he had said. Then they believed the scriptures and the word that Jesus had spoken. Now whilst he was in Jerusalem at the Pesach festival, many saw the signs he was performing and believed in his name. But Jesus would not entrust himself to them, for he knew all people. He did not need any testimony about mankind, for he knew what was in each person. Quran, Surah Fusilat, Surah Hamim, Surah Ashura, Surah Fusilat, 41. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Hamim, a revelation from Allah, most gracious, most merciful, a book whereof the verses are explained in detail, a Quran in Arabic for people who understand, giving benevolent news and admonition. Yet most of them turn away, and so they hear not. They say, "Our hearts are under veils concealed from that to which thou dost invite us, and in our ears is a deafness, and between us and thee is a screen. So do thou what thou wilt, for us we shall do what we will. Say thou, I am but a man like you. It is revealed to me by inspiration that your God is one God. So stand true to Allah and ask for Allah's forgiveness, and woe to those who join deities with Allah, those who practice not regular charity, and who even deny the hereafter. For those who believe and work deeds of righteousness is a reward that will never fail. Say, is it that ye deny Allah who created the earth in 2 days, and do ye join equals with Allah? Allah is the Lord of all the worlds. Allah set on the earth mountains standing firm high above it, and bestowed blessings on the earth, and measured therein all things to give them nourishment in due proportion, in 4 days, in accordance with the needs of those who seek sustenance. Further, Allah comprehended in Allah's design the sky, and it had been as smoke. Allah said to it and to the earth, Come ye together willingly or unwillingly. They said, We do come together in willing obedience. So Allah completed them as 7 firmaments in 2 days, and Allah assigned to each heaven its duty and command, and we adorned the lower heaven with lights and provided it with guards. Such is the decree of Allah, the exalted in might, full of knowledge. But if they turn away, say thou, I have warned you of a stunning punishment as of thunder and lightning, like that which overtook the Ad and the Talmud. Behold, the apostles came to them from before them and behind them, preaching, serve none but Allah. They said, if our Lord had so pleased, Allah would certainly have sent down angels to preach. Now we reject your mission altogether. Now the Ad behaved arrogantly through the land against all truth and reason, and said, who is superior to us in strength? What, did they not see that Allah who created them was superior to them in strength? But they continued to reject our signs. So we sent against them a furious wind through days of disaster, that we might give them a taste of a penalty of humiliation in this life. But the penalty of a hereafter it will be further humiliating still, and they will find no help. As to the Talmud, we gave them guidance, but they preferred blindness of heart to guidance. So the stunning punishment of humiliation seized them because of what they had earned. But we delivered those who believed and practiced righteousness. On the day that the enemies of Allah will be gathered together to the fire, they will be marched in ranks. At length, when they reach the fire, their hearing, their sight, and their skins will bear witness against them as to all their deeds. They will say to their skins, why bear ye witness against us? They will say, Allah hath given us speech. Allah who giveth speech to everything. Allah created you for the first time, and unto Allah were you to return. Ye did not seek to hide yourselves, lest your hearing, your sight, and your skins should bear witness against you. But ye did think that Allah knew not many of the things that ye used to do. But this thought of yours which ye did entertain concerning your Lord hath brought you to destruction, and now have ye become of those utterly lost. If then they have patience, the fire will be a home for them, and if they beg to be received into favor will they not then be received. And we have destined for them intimate companions of like nature, who made alluring to them what was before them and below them, and the sentence amongst the previous generations of jinns and men who have passed away is proved against them, for they are utterly lost. The unbelievers say, listen not to this Quran, but talk at random in the midst of its reading, that ye may gain the upper hand. But we will certainly give the unbelievers a taste of a severe penalty, and we will requite them for the worst of their deeds, such as the requital of the enemies of Allah, the fire. Therein will be for them the eternal home, a fit requital for that they were wont to reject our signs. And the unbelievers will say, our Lord, show us those amongst jinns and men who misled us. We shall crush them beneath our feet, so that they become the vilest before all. In the case of those who say, our Lord is Allah, and further stand straight and steadfast, the angels descend on them from time to time. Fear ye not, they suggest, nor grieve, but receive the glad tidings of the garden of bliss, the which ye were promised. We are your protectors in this life and in the hereafter. Therein shall ye have all that your souls shall desire. Therein shall ye have all that ye ask for. A hospitable gift from one oft-forgiving, most merciful. Who is better in speech than one who calls men to Allah, works righteousness, and says, I am of those who bow in Islam. Nor can benevolence and evil be equal. Repel evil with what is better, then will he between whom and thee was hatred become as it were thy friend and intimate. And no one will be granted such benevolence except those who exercise patience and self-restraint, none but persons of the greatest benevolent fortune. And if at any time an incitement to discord is made to thee by the evil one, seek refuge in Allah. Allah is the one who hears and knows all things. Amongst Allah's signs are the night and the day, and the soleil and the moon. Adore not the soleil and the moon, but adore Allah, who created them, if it is Allah you wish to serve. But is the unbelievers But if the unbelievers are arrogant, no matter, for in the presence of thy Lord are those who celebrate Allah's praises by night and by day, and they never flag nor feel themselves above it. And amongst Allah's signs is this: Thou seest the earth barren and desolate, but when we send down rain to it, it is stirred to life and yields increase. Truly Allah who gives life to the dead, earth can surely give life to men who are dead, for Allah has power over all things. Those who pervert the truth in our signs are not hidden from us, which is better, he that is cast into the fire, or he that comes safe through on the day of judgment. Do what ye will, verily Allah seeth clearly all that ye do. Those who reject the message when it comes to them are not hidden from us, and indeed it is a book of exalted power. No falsehood can approach it from before or behind it. It is sent down by one full of wisdom, worthy of all praise. Nothing is said to thee that was not said to the apostles before thee, that thy Lord has at Allah's command all forgiveness as well as a most grievous penalty. Had we sent this as a Quran in the language other than Arabic, they would have said, why are not its verses explained in detail? What, a book not in Arabic and a messenger in Arab? Say, it is a guide and a healing to those who believe, and for those who believe not, there is a deafness in their ears, and it is blindness in their eyes. They are as it were being called from a place distantly, a long distance. We certainly gave Moshe the book aforetime, but disputes arose therein. Had it not been for a word that went forth from before thy Lord, their differences would have been settled between them, but they remained in suspicious disquieting doubt thereon. Whoever works righteousness benefits his own soul. Whoever works evil, it is against his own soul. Nor is thy Lord ever unjust in the least to Allah's servants. To Allah is referred the knowledge of the hour of judgment. Allah knows all. No date fruit comes out of its sheath, nor does a female conceive within her womb, nor bring forth the day that Allah will propound to them the question, where are the partners ye attributed to me? Will they say, we do assure thee, not one of us can bear witness. The deities they used to invoke aforetime will leave them in the lurch, and they will perceive that they have no way of escape. Man does not weary of asking for benevolent things, but if ill touches him, he gives up all hope and is lost in despair. When we give him a taste of some mercy from ourselves after some adversity has touched him, he is sure to say, this is due to my merit. I think not that the hour of judgment will ever be established. But if I am brought back to my Lord, I have much benevolence stored in Allah's sight. But we will show the unbelievers the truth of all that they did, and we shall give them the taste of a severe penalty. When we bestow favors on man, he turns away and gets himself remote on his side, instead of coming to us. And when evil seizes him, he comes full of prolonged prayer. Say, see ye if the revelation is truly from Allah, and yet do ye reject it? Who is further astray than one who is in a schism distantly from any purpose? Soon will we show them our signs in the furthest regions of the earth and in their own souls, until it becomes manifest to them that this is the truth. Is it not enough that thy Lord doth witness all things? Ah, indeed, are they in doubt concerning the meeting with their Lord? Ah, indeed, it is Allah that doth encompass all things. Surah Ashura, número 42. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Ha-Mim. Ain Sin Kaf. Thus doth Allah send inspiration to thee, as Allah did to those before thee. Allah exalted in power, full of wisdom. To Allah belongs all that is in the heavens and on earth, and Allah is most high, most great. The heavens are almost rent asunder from above them by Allah's glory, and the angels celebrate the praises of their Lord, and pray for forgiveness for all beings on earth. Behold, verily Allah is Allah, the oft-forgiving, most merciful. And those who take as protectors others besides Allah, Allah doth watch over them, and thou art not the disposer of their affairs. Thus have we sent by inspiration to thee an Arabic Quran, that thou mayest warn the more of cities and all around her, and warn them of the day of assembly, of which there is no doubt, when some will be in the garden and some in the blazing fire. If Allah had so willed, Allah could have made them a single people, but Allah admits whom Allah willed to Allah's mercy, and the wrongdoers will have no protector nor helper. What have they taken for worship protectors besides Allah, but it is Allah. Allah is the protector, and it is Allah who gives life to the dead. It is Allah who has power over all things. Whatever it be wherein ye differ, the decision thereof is with Allah. Such is Allah, my Lord. In Allah I trust, and to Allah I turn. Allah is the creator of the heavens and the earth. Allah has made for you pairs from amongst yourselves and pairs amongst cattle. By this means does Allah multiply you. There is nothing whatever like unto Allah, and Allah is the one that hears and sees all things. To Allah belong the keys of the heavens and the earth. Allah enlarges and restricts the sustenance to whom Allah will, for Allah knows full well all things. The same religion has Allah established for you as that which Allah enjoined on Noah, the which we have sent by inspiration to thee, and that which we enjoined on Abraham, Moshe, and Jesus, namely that ye should remain steadfast in religion and make no divisions therein. To those who worship other things than Allah, hard is the way to which thou callest them. Allah chooses to Allah those whom Allah pleases, and guides to Allah those who turn to Allah. And they became divided only after knowledge reached them, through selfish envy as between themselves. Had it not been for a word that went forth before from thy Lord, tending to a term appointed, the matter would have been settled between them. But truly those who have inherited the book after them are in suspicious, disquieting doubt concerning it. Now then, for that reason, call them to the faith, and stand steadfast as thou art commanded, nor follow thou their vain desires, but say, I believe in the book which Allah has sent down, and I am commanded to judge justly between you. Allah is our Lord and your Lord. For us is the responsibility for our deeds, and for you for your deeds. There is no contention between us and you. Allah will bring us together, and to Allah is our final goal. But those who dispute concerning Allah after Allah has been accepted, futile is their dispute in the sight of their Lord. On them will be a penalty terrible. It is Allah who has sent down the book in truth, and the balance by which to weigh conduct. And what will make thee understand that perhaps the hour is close at hand? Only those wish to hasten it who believe not in it. Those who believe hold it in awe, and know that it is the truth. Behold, verily those that dispute concerning the hour are distantly astray. Gracious is Allah to Allah's servants. Allah gives sustenance to whom Allah pleases, and Allah has power and can carry out Allah's will. To any that desires the tilth of the hereafter, we give increase in his tilth, and to any that desires the tilth of this world, we grant somewhat thereof, but he has no share or lot in the hereafter. What? Have they partners in deityship, who have established for them some religion without the permission of Allah? Had it not been for the decree of judgment, the matter would have been decided between them at once. But verily the wrongdoers will have a grievous penalty. Thou wilt see the wrongdoers in fear on account of what they have earned, and the burden of that must necessarily fall on them. But those who believe and work righteous deeds will be in the luxuriant meads of the gardens. They shall have before their Lord all they wish for. That will indeed be the magnificent bounty of Allah. That is the bounty whereof Allah gives glad tidings to Allah's servants who believe and do righteous deeds. Say, no reward do I ask of you for this except the love of those near of kin. And if any one earns any benevolence, we shall give him an increase of benevolence in respect thereof, for Allah is all forgiving, most ready to appreciate service. What do they say? He has forged a falsehood against Allah. But if Allah willed, Allah could seal up thy heart, and Allah blots out vanity and proves the truth by Allah's words. For Allah knows well the secrets of all hearts. Allah is one that accepts repentance from Allah's servants and forgives sins. And Allah knows all that ye do. And Allah listens to those who believe and do deeds of righteousness, and gives them increase of Allah's bounty. But for the unbelievers there is a terrible penalty. If Allah were to enlarge the provision for Allah's servants, they would indeed transgress beyond all bounds through the earth. But Allah sends it down in due measure as Allah pleases. For Allah is with Allah's servants well acquainted, watchful. Allah is the one that sends down rain even after men have given up all hope, and scatters Allah's mercy distant and wide. And Allah is the protector, worthy of all praise. And amongst Allah's signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the living creatures that Allah has scattered through them, and Allah has power to gather them together when Allah wills. Whatever misfortune happens to you is because of the things your hands have wrought, and for many of them Allah grants forgiveness. nor can ye frustrate aught fleeing through the earth, nor have ye besides Allah any one to protect or to help. And amongst Allah's signs are the ships smooth running through the ocean, tall as mountains. If it be Allah's will, Allah can still the wind, then would they become motionless on the back of the ocean. Verily in this are signs for everyone who patiently perseveres and is grateful. Or Allah can cause them to perish because of the evil which the men have earned, but much doth Allah forgive. But let those know who dispute about our signs that there is for them no way of escape. Whatever ye are given here is but a convenience of this life, but that which is with Allah is better and further lasting. It is for those who believe and put their trust in their Lord, those who avoid the greater crimes and shameful deeds, and when they are angry, even then forgive. Those who hearken to their Lord and establish regular prayer, who conduct their affairs by mutual consultation, who spend out of what we bestow on them for sustenance. And those who, when an oppressive wrong is afflicted on them, are not cowed, but help and defend themselves. The recompense for an injury is an injury equal thereto in degree, but if a person forgives and makes reconciliation, his reward is due from Allah, for Allah loveth not those who do wrong. But indeed, if any do help and defend themselves after a wrong done to them, against such there is no cause of blame. The blame is only against those who oppress them in wrongdoing and insolently transgress beyond bounds through the land, defying right and justice. For such there will be a penalty grievous. But indeed, if any show patience and forgive, that would truly be an exercise of courage, of courageous will and resolution in the conduct of affairs. For any whom Allah leaves astray, there is no protector thereafter, and thou wilt see the wrongdoers when in sight of the penalty. Say, is there any way to effect a return? And thou wilt see them brought forward to the penalty in a humble frame of mind because of their disgrace, and looking with a stealthy glance. And the believers will say, those are indeed in loss, who have given to perdition their own selves and those belonging to them on the day of judgment. Behold, truly the wrongdoers are in a lasting penalty. And no protectors have they to help them other than Allah, and for any whom Allah leaves to astray, there is no way to the goal. Hearken ye to your Lord before there come a day which there will be no putting back because of the ordainment of Allah. That day there will be for you no place of refuge, nor will there be for you any room for denial of your sins. If then they run away, we have not sent thee as a guard over them. Thy duty is but to convey the message. And truly when they give man a taste of a mercy from ourselves, he doth exult thereat. But when some ill happens to him on account of the deeds which his hands have sent forth, truly then is man ungrateful. To Allah belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth. Allah creates what Allah wills and plans. Allah bestows children, male and female, according to Allah's will and plan. Or Allah bestows both males and females, and Allah leaves barren whom Allah will, for Allah is full of knowledge and power. It is not fitting for a man that Allah should speak to him except by inspiration or from behind a veil, or by the sending of a messenger to reveal with Allah's permission what Allah wills, for Allah is most high, most wise. And thus have we by our command sent inspiration to thee. Thou knewest not before what was revelation and what was faith, but we have made the Quran a light wherewith we guide such of our servants as we will, and verily thou dost guide men to the straight way, the way of Allah, to whom belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on earth. Behold how all affairs tend towards Allah. Tao Te Ching, chapters 43 a 48. 43. The softest things of the world override the hardest things of the world. That which has no substance enters into that which has no openings. From this I know the benefits of unattached actions. The teaching without words, the benefits of actions without attachment, are rarely matched in the world. Fame or the self, which is dearer? The self or wealth, which is greater? Gain or loss, which is further painful? Thus excessive love must lead to great spending. Excessive hoarding must lead to heavy loss. Knowing contentment avoids disgrace. Knowing when to stop avoids danger. Thus one can endure indefinitely. 45. Great perfection seems flawed, its function is without failure. Great fullness seems empty, its function is without exhaustion. Great straightness seems bent. Great skill seems unrefined. Great eloquence seems inarticulate. Movement overcomes cold, stillness overcomes heat. Clear quietness is the standard of the world. 46. When the world has the Tao, fast horses are retired to till the soil. When the world lacks the Tao, war horses give birth on the battlefield. There is no crime greater than greed, no disaster greater than discontentment, no fault greater than avarice. Thus the satisfaction of contentment is the lasting satisfaction. 47. Without going out the door, know the world. Without peering out the window, see the heavenly Tao. The further one goes, the less one knows. Therefore the sage knows without going, names without seeing, achieves without striving. 48. Pursue knowledge, daily gain. Pursue Tao, daily loss. Loss and further loss, until one reaches unattached action. With unattached action, there is nothing one cannot do. Take the world by constantly applying non-interference. The one who interferes is not qualified to take the world. 'Alhamdulillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Allahu Akbar. Deus nos daqui, essentially, som da fakida no metum, bahigusana. Da fehunda. Ja. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher katzanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'asok b'dvarai Torah. Kyrie eleison. Civil master subject at the head. Sabe sata b'avantu sukitata. Fakabiyat. Ubuntu. Shabana. Fekako. Akwaba. Upinda na amani. Woman check up. Sheshe. Como se mira. Domo arigato. Piluma yelo wakatako. Talk adoga shingu. God, we thank you for all that you bless us. Lord, my God. Ata jamia yata afanami. Aho. Om shanti shanti shanti. Amen. So that's the recording. One note, at the risk of setting a precedent, challenging concentration today. Just noted different conditions, no excuses, observation. Job done. Namaste, assalamu alaikum, shalom. Zaijian, adios, te chagaris, asamudwo, kele ufred. One love and peace.